All right, let's learn how to make a card game. Hey everybody. So I made a trading card game, a homemade trading card game called Hocus Poker. It's gonna be published on the Game Crafter real soon. I'm looking real forward to that. So I just made this channel to kind of talk about it and promote it. Um, anyway, I know there's a lot of people in the homemade trading card game community, and the idea can be pretty daunting. But you can do it. You can totally do it if you really want to do it. And in this video, I'm just going to show you guys how I did it. I don't know, it's like there's really like no like one right way to do it, but there are a couple of things that you should consider. Um, it's like you can. There's also like lots of other creators who've made videos like this, so definitely go check those people out, like Chaos Galaxy, TCG, Scribbles with Rachel. Those two channels really helped me a lot with making a card game. But I'll just repackage what they brought up. So like, and this isn't like a step-by-step guide, really, because you don't have to do any of these things like in the same order as I did. But these are, I think these would be some good things to consider. One of the first things you should consider is the concept. Like, it's like what kind of game do you want to play? Like, do you have like some kind of cool like gameplay idea? It's like that you want to put in, or do you have like a kind of like setting that you thought up that you think might be fun? It's like, I don't know, like do you want to portray like magic battles, or do you want to portray, I don't know, like sword fights, pirates, I don't know, like whatever you want. It's like just come up with a concept and it, like my concept. It's okay to be inspired by other games. Like my concept was basically I wanted to mix Yu-Gi-Oh with poker, kind of. That was like the original concept, and like the real concept behind that was like you'd use your soul as a resource, and I figured you could do like deals with the devil like that. Like basically you're offering your soul for like magic and power from these creatures. I thought that was really neat. um, you know and that's what led me to splitting the cards up based on the seven sins. But like this was super early. Like I actually used to call it Faustian poker because of that. That's where I got the name, like Faust, like Dr. Faustus. He sold his soul to the devil for magic and stuff. Very famous story. You should go check it out. But this is a homemade card game channel, so I'm not going to talk about Faust too much. Uh, but yeah. So one thing you would definitely want to start out with is like a concept. Like Magic the Gathering. The concept is, you're a planeswalker who is using powerful magic to defeat their foes. Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of the same. You're basically just like a magic caster. And Pokemon, it's like you're a Pokemon trainer. Battling other Pokemon trainers and Pokemon and whatnot, using items and stuff. So it's like definitely try to get a concept, and it's like when you're picking a concept, try to pick a concept that can include like a lot of different things, because that'll make it a lot easier to like come up with ideas, and it'll be a lot easier to throw in different ideas. It's like and it's like don't commit too hard to a theme unless like you absolutely really like that theme. Like say like you want to do like a game about like cowboys or something. It's like you're kind of stuck with the cowboys, maybe, like unless you like change it up, make some like space cowboys. But it's like you're kind of stuck with cowboys. That's why a lot of games use like magic and stuff, because with magic there's just so many like creatures and lore that you can draw on from all around the world when it comes to like making cards. It might be a good idea to design like a backstory for your game, like some kind of lore. Like Yu-Gi-Oh is basically, it was like supposed to be a game that ancient Egyptians played, whatever. Uh, but that it's like Pokemon. It's like, yeah, it's like if you ever play the video games, like Pokemon, the backstory, and like Magic has like so much like backstory. Like maybe like the backstory or the lore is like, oh, it's like this was a war that went on, and like all the cards were like different parts of that war or whatever. it's like the way I connected them all is is it the basic backstory of my game is that there was this like alchemist who it's like through like magic and alchemy and stuff, he got a lot of power, and one thing he started doing was he started like traveling around, and he would offer different people and creatures like magical assistance in exchange for like a little piece of their soul. And then he took their pieces of their soul and then put them into these cards and whatnot. And that's why you have to, use a little bit of your soul to, use to like activate the pieces of soul like in the cards that you can use their effect with. Yeah. So that's basically the concept for Hocus Poker. And it's like it's like your concept can really be anything. It doesn't have to be like dark or anything. It can be silly too. It's there's a lot of different things you can do with the concept. Okay, so like another thing that depending on like the kind of person you are, it's like maybe you like design like a bunch of like cards or miscellaneous characters that you think would be really fun as a card game, and that's totally fine. It's like you can do this however you want to. But what I did was I wanted to focus on like the actual like game aspect of it. So one thing you should totally do is like study the more popular trading card games, or look at some of the other trading card games that have like mechanics that a lot of people like. Like I heavily looked into like I've always been a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh, but like I looked deeper into Yu-Gi-Oh to learn a bit like about Yu-Gi-Oh and like how the rules work and like why people like it so much, like, and what do I like about it really, and like the kind of like different like philosophies behind card design and how card design is in Yu-Gi-Oh. Same with Magic the Gathering. I studied a lot of Magic the Gathering because Magic the Gathering was like the OG like super popular trading card game, and a lot of people copied Magic. And Pokemon, again, huge trading card game, really fun too. I like all three of the games. I think they're all great. But yeah, it's like it would be a good idea to study them and like try to learn like what people like about those games, and then maybe you can like figure out like how you can use that knowledge when crafting a new game up like from the ground up. And it's okay to be inspired by other card games. Like I was heavily inspired by Yu-Gi-Oh to make this. Like raise cards are like basically trap cards really, because I love that aspect of Yu-Gi-Oh where it's like you can totally turn a whole game around like in one move. One card can totally change the course of the game. I love that kind of thing. I mean, you have that with like other card games too, but like with Yu-Gi-Oh it feels like really like drastic. But definitely when you're shooting for rules, like it'd be a good idea to like study those games too, because that'll help you like make your game more original too, because like it's like you wouldn't want to make like a carbon copy of a game. Like who's gonna want to buy a Yu-Gi-Oh clone when they can just play Yu-Gi-Oh? I mean, well Yu-Gi-Oh is really expensive anyway, but or like it's like same with like Magic the Gathering. Like why would I want a Magic the Gathering clone when I might as well just go play Magic the Gathering? Or same with Pokemon. Like why would I want to play a game that's like Pokemon when I can just go play Pokemon? Like but yeah, it's like like try to keep it original. Like what like one thing I did with Hocus Poker was a lot of games use resources. Like Magic has mana, Pokemon has energy. I decided that my resource would be like the same as like your life point total, your soul coins. And I just thought that'd be interesting. Like that would fit with the theme of like like deals with the devil, like offering your soul and like betting your soul on like a game that really like. I mean, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, you can. I mean, like other games, like you can use your life as a resource, but like the main resource in this game like is your life total. Basically, it's like yeah, just like look for ways, or like you can use like models of the card games. Like Force of Will is like similar to Magic the Gathering, but from what I understand, Force of Will has like some it kind of like improves the Magic formula in some places, and like does its own thing. Oh yeah, I also studied like Vanguard. Vanguard feels kind of Pokemon-y to me, but it is like its own like separate thing. It's like it. Try to shoot for originality. I've seen some really cool original games, but and like that's always gonna catch the attention way more. Because like it's like another thing is like it doesn't really matter like how your cards look. Like if the game isn't fun, no one's gonna want to play it. So I think it would be a good idea to like really think about your rules and like do like a good thought. Like what kind of game do you want to play? Like what kind of game do you think would be fun? I thought it'd be fun to like play like a Yu-Gi-Oh type game where there's like a lot of like a heavy gambling element involved. This layer of like uncertainty where like you don't know like what your opponent's cards are until it's too late and like shit's going down. And I really like that aspect. There's this like uncertainty to it. But I mean, it's like it's like with your game, like you can do whatever you'd want with it. This certainly wasn't the first card game concept I had. Like one of the first ones I had was this like kind of like tiered card game. I won't get like too into it, but it was kind of inspired by like Solitaire a little bit. But I scrapped that idea because it just kind of I don't know, it seemed generic at the time. I might talk about that game idea in a later video, but I don't know. But anyway, it's like don't worry, it's gonna take a while. You might get frustrated too with the rules. When you're coming up with rules, it'd probably be a good idea when you're coming up with like rules and like card effects. It might be like a good idea to like before like you like get drawing cards, you like spend time like making like playtest cards, like all text. Like I used index cards. Just so I could just spitball effects, just so I could like spitball effects for cards before I like actually like design them and whatnot. It's like, it's like, hey, like, oh, like this effect, like an effect, like I could like look and be like, oh, like this effect is good in a game. It's like I bet I can like design a card around the effect. It's like some of the cards I designed around the effects, and like some cards I designed and then gave them an effect later. It's like it's very very chaotic. But it's like that should be something to consider. Index cards are pretty good. Like like when you're just like trying to come up with like card ideas. So it'd be a good idea to like build your gameplay and rules around the theme or concept of your game, because that will help with your card design. Like I said, like in my card game, it's like I decided to split the cards up by the 7 sins. So it's like when I was designing a card for a certain sin, I would like try to show off an aspect or like of that sin, which ended up leading to me like having cards like panty shot here. Shooting panties, and a lot of the cards in my game, this is an aside, a lot of the cards in my game are puns. They're puns, and like a lot of the cards are like really silly just because I have just like a weird sense of humor, I guess. I can't be serious for 10 seconds. But it's like even the name Hocus Poker is a pun on Hocus Pocus. I love alliteration and puns. I don't know why. I'll never stop. But it's like actually like designing the cards. I just got just like a simple like cheap sketchbook from Walmart, and what I did was I just penciled it in and then inked it. And I mean, like, you can do whatever you want. It might actually be a lot easier, like if you have like Photoshop or something, or like any kind of like video, like not video, like photo editing software where you can like draw and create images. Would work fine. And it might actually be better because like when you're doing this stuff like online, like it's like you might have like a design idea and then like you might get like a better idea, and it's just so much easier to like get rid of it and like not affect the whole picture. Where like if I were to mess up inking on on Panty Shot, I'd have to like add whiteout to fix it, which I had to do on like some of these cards. I did have to throw whiteout on some of them. Like, oh yeah, like here's a you can't really see it, but I heavily whited out some stuff on the original version of Succulent Succubus, but because yeah, I had like some changes I had to make to her. I wanted to throw a collar around her neck just to make her look more like BDSM-y, I guess. But then it's like I ended up like changing it so much, and I got more ideas for it that I ended up just scrapping this design altogether and came up with her new current design, which I think is a lot better. And it's like, yeah, it's like the drawing will take a long time, so it's like it might be a good idea to like not do too much detail when it comes to designing the cards, because for one, it's like when they finally come out, it's like they're probably gonna look a lot smaller, like on card, like here, let me show you, like on some of these Hocus Pocus cards that I got as a print test. It's like the cards, like, it's not gonna be like it's the image is gonna be like fairly small, so it's like you don't want to like throw too much. Oh look, Panty Shot. No, wait, there, Panty Shot. So it's like you don't really want to throw too much detail in, because like that detail will just clutter up the image, and it might not even show through. It's like you might just have wasted your energy on putting all that detail in, unless you're like a very detail oriented person, in which case like more power to you. But it's like you will be drawing presumably like dozens of cards. Like there's 77 cards, 11 in each sin. In the base set of Hocus Pocus, which is still actually not even that many for a base set of even like a homemade trading card game. It's like, but yeah, it's like you want to be careful about like the amount of detail you put in. It's like you want to put in like some detail, because like that just makes it look nicer. Yeah. So one thing I did was I actually drew all these and like colored most of these cards by hand. So like what I did was I actually don't have a computer. I'm filming this on my phone, and I actually there's like apps where you can like scan images. Like some kind of like photocopier, photo scan or whatever. I use this app called Cam Scanner, and there's other apps too. There might be better ones where you can just take a picture of it and it scans it like a photocopier would. And then what I would do is I would then print out the scanned image, and then I would use real markers. So yeah, it's like there's gonna be a lot of artsy stuff that you're gonna need to do. A lot of arts supplies you might need, unless of course you have like some kind of photo editing software, which is I wish I'd had at the time, because it would have been a lot easier coloring these guys, because I could have switched up their color schemes. Like there's a couple cards that I had to color over and over because I would either mess up or I would think of a better color scheme. But I also kind of suck at planning things, so take that as you will. It's like it might be like a little bit more work than you might think. Like Treasure Island Siren, I colored her at least twice. I have two different, at least twice I had to like color like the whole thing, and then like I looked at it and I was like, this is dog shit, and I had to get rid of it and change it up. But it's like it's also kind of a balancing act, because like you don't want to, it's like you don't want to be like too much of a perfectionist with it, because it's like if you spend like too much time on one card, you're gonna get burnt out and quit. Because like you might want to spend like all that time on like all the other ones, and like I said, like you're gonna be making like dozens of cards. So it's like, but I mean, like it's like it's really up to you. Like if you want it to be like all like perfect, like that's cool. But like it'll just take that extra bit of time. But like there might also be, but I also made like mistakes. So like there's also lots of things you can do. To mitigate those and like planning things better. I was kind of making up a lot of things really as I went along. While I don't have a computer, I recently was able to get an iPad, or yeah, a tablet, which made drawing and coloring things a lot easier. I used Procreate. That app is not a sponsored video. I wish it was. But I used Procreate to add like additional coloring or corrections to some of my cards. It's a very powerful tool, but it's like if you don't have access to that, you can do it all by hand. So you can totally design the layouts of cards, and it's like the layouts, the templates might take like a long time, but it's like just keep grinding. I think it would also be important to make like some playtest cards, like these cards. I drew the template by hand, and like I said, I used Cam Scanner and went to my library and printed them out. I printed out like sheets of these cards, and it's like there's some homemade trading card game players I use the GameCrafter.com, but some don't, and that's cool. There's like certain kinds of paper you can get, I think there's poker card paper that you can get specifically and put that card put that paper in printers and whatnot, and put whatever you want on those cards and cut them out. But I didn't do that. I wanted to go the GameCrafter route because I just really like that extra professional kind of feel that they just look really nice. And even these these were a print test just to see how they looked. I've had to change several of the cards on here just because I skipped over them, and I didn't notice this, but my prideful cards were all purple. But the purple I picked, while it looked fine on the tablet screen that I was coloring it with, when I actually got it printed, look, you can hardly see the text. It's too dark. I mean, it's fine to me in the light, but even on camera, it's it's still pretty dark. So I had to change all the colors, not all the colors, but I had to change the purple to a lighter shade on all the cards. So it will take probably several trials and failures and whatnot. This was really fun though. The playtest cards, it was just nice being able to have cards in sleeves, and it's after I printed them out just so I could get the actual card fill, I cut them out and I just I just put Pokemon cards or magic cards in a sleeve, and then just slid this over it. I thought this was cool because they got a little Axew and he's got blades in his mouth. And this is a character, the shimmying swashbuckler, who she doesn't have arms and she has a blade in her mouth. That's just for me though. But yeah, it's there's lots of ways to do it. These were invaluable because I was actually able to sit down and kind of give a proof of concept, hey, I actually did draw some cards and I'm trying to make this card game. So it was a lot easier to hang out with friends, to get them to play test cards with me like this. But yeah, it's even the design I picked on here, I had to change some stuff because homunculus didn't really work with the lore, so I just changed it to human. I thought it fit better. It is unfortunate though, if you don't have a computer like me, it'd be a lot harder to get to your local library, at least currently, because at the time of recording this, we are in July of 2020, and coronavirus is hitting us pretty hard. People don't want to wear masks. Yeah, so it might be kind of hard to get to a library, but you can still do it in other ways. But this is what I did. It's I said, I use the GameCrafter.net to get these cards that look like this. GameCrafter.net's great. There's lots of tutorials out there that you can check out that can explain it much better than I can. The Chaos Galaxy, that guy, he's got a pretty good video talking about how to use the GameCrafter, the technical stuff of it. And of course, GameCrafter's got their own videos that show you and their own guides and whatnot. And it's kind of a lot at first, but once you get it, you'll figure it out. Pretty simple. But yeah, I think that's mostly it. But one thing I definitely want you guys to remember, try to have fun. It's these are supposed to be fun. It's a card game. they're supposed to be fun. People like playing them for fun, and just try to come up with like a kind of game that you would like to play. Like, what's a kind of card game that you want to play, or like, but like just doesn't exist. Like what kind of cards do you want to use? What kind of magic and what kind of like what kind of creatures do you want to command? So I think that'd be a really good way of like looking at things. Just try to have fun, and your rules. It's like it might be a good idea to make. You want the rules to like be complex, but you don't want them to be like so complex that they're hard to learn. It's like you kind of want to start out simple, and like that's why like Yu-Gi-Oh now is like extremely complicated, but it started out really simple, and like the basic elements are still there. Like that's still the basic foundation. Same with Magic, same with Pokemon. They all started out really simply, but they grew complex as they went along. So it's like if you want your game to be like more complex, like that's fine, but I think it might be a good idea to like ease up on the pedal a bit. Like make like at least like your base set more simple, like a more like broken down simple version of your game, and then like as you add sets you can make it more and more complex by adding in different mechanics and whatnot, because hopefully at that point like you already have like some kind of audience of people that like want to play your game, and they would really appreciate the increasing difficulty, because like at that point it wouldn't necessarily matter, because like it wouldn't be as hard to get people into it just because there'd be more people playing it, honestly. But yeah, it's like it will take a while. I mean, like depending on your work ethic or like how much you want to work on it, you don't want to like try to like force it, because like you don't want to burn out, because like you might end up like me and like making some cards that like aren't, that you're not really all that proud of. Like there's some cards in here that I cut entirely, or just because I just wasn't. I don't know. I just didn't think they had like a good. It didn't have like a good concept behind them, or like I just came up with like a better idea afterwards. But yeah, you don't want to, you don't want to like burn yourself out on it. It's fine. Like it's fine to take your time with it. Like this took me about 2 years to even get to this point, because I started like I'd had the idea for like a little bit, and then like I started like actually working on the game like around like January, February of like 2018, and it's like it's July 2020 and I haven't yet published the game. Like like it might take a while, like and that's fine. Like it's like don't worry about that like too much. Like I mean, like you probably will, but like it's fine. It's fine, I promise. Like it's totally fine. Like like take your time if you need to, because like it's like I know I get it. Like you really want to like have it out, but it's like you don't want to rush it either, because then it might look really bad, or like something like people like won't like really won't want to buy it. But like yeah, it's like I said before, a big important thing is just have fun. Try to make something that you think like will be fun for people to have, and like to play. Like something like like give them like cards that you might think people would like want to I don't know, like like they want to like buy or collect, like oh yeah, it's one of my favorite puns, the suck you bus. It's a bus that but I don't know if I'll put that in. That might be a little too I don't know, adult. I mean, I'm kind of treading the line with succulent succubus anyway, but it's like it's whatever. It's like it's like I filled up like all those markers and stuff, but yeah, it's like I filled up like a couple sketchbooks of this stuff, and yeah, they're just different cards. It's like it takes a second. It's like you might have to go through like a couple like different logo designs, if I can find any in here, like different logo designs. Took a bit. It's like but yeah, it's like you want to have fun. That's a big important part. But anyway, yeah, it's like I think that's about it. So if any of you guys have questions, comments, whatever, just let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to help in case I didn't cover anything. Oh yeah, like here's another design of Hocus Poker early on. I actually still like that design, but I'm kind of, I don't know. I think I like the design that's like closer to like this better because it has like the soul coin in it, and it's just a little simpler to draw. But yeah, so it's like don't be afraid to go through multiple drafts of the game, and yeah, you know, it's like it's gonna take a second, but just try to have fun, try to make something that's fun, and yeah, hopefully that'll be good.